All right, so you're here
Yeah.
because you're curious about Earth Hour, and we are too, so we're going to deep dive into it.
Yeah.
We've been looking at all sorts of stuff from the UN statements, reports, press releases, trying to figure out,
Mm-hmm.
what is this thing really all about? And we know the basics, right? It's millions of people
Yeah.
around the world turning off their lights for an hour on March 25th at 8:30 p.m. local time.
Right.
But, what's the point?
Well, it's interesting because what we see in the UN materials is that they're positioning Earth Hour as really a kickoff,
Oh,
a
yeah.
launch pad for a whole year of climate action. And I think that's,
So is it kind of performative then? Are we just,
yeah.
feeling good about ourselves for an hour?
I mean, there's always that risk, right, with these big events. But what we're seeing is they're really trying to use it to tie into their sustainable development goals,
Okay.
particularly Goal 13, which is focused on climate action.
Okay, so how does turning off the lights in my house for an hour connect to something as complicated as a UN Sustainable Development Goal?
Well, I think it's about building momentum. And we saw a really powerful statement from the UN Secretary General calling on everyone to make peace with nature.
Wow.
So, I think there's a sense of urgency there that they're trying to capture.
Yeah.
And it gets people thinking and talking and hopefully doing more than just, sitting in the dark for an hour.
Yeah, and the UN reports that we've seen have said that there were over 190 countries and territories that participated last year.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about individuals turning off lights. You've got major landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Sydney Opera House going dark.
Right.
It's a pretty powerful image.
It is, but how do we make sure that that image turns into,
Right.
actual change?
Yeah, and I think that's the big question, right? How do we
Right.
turn this awareness into action? And so the UN is really using Earth Hour to highlight, concrete things that people can do, whether it's advocating for renewable energy in their communities or adopting more sustainable transportation habits.
So it's about using that symbolism of Earth Hour to
Yeah.
inspire action all year long.
Exactly. Can we use those 60 minutes of darkness to spark some light that lasts the whole year?
I love that. So Earth Hour is a really powerful symbol of global solidarity for a sustainable future. And seeing millions of lights go out all across the planet is such a striking reminder
Yeah.
of how much power we actually have to make a difference when we all come together.
Mm-hmm.
But what about when those lights come back on? What are you going to do to keep that momentum going?
Yeah.
How are you going to contribute to a brighter future?
What kind of light are you going to spark?